go somewhere out?
No. It's okay. Just be with your friends. I don't even mind if they interject.
Oh, right.
Okay, so you are?
I'm Ian Pearce, and I was one of the foundation members of the ASA and on the ASA Council, Foundation Council, for 2 terms, actually.
So you're one of the ASA elders?
Absolutely.
It came up today when I was talking about dry marketing. They talked about the formation of a tribe, and the most important thing about a tribe are the elders. So.
Well, that's true, and hopefully that's true for me as one of them.
All those years back, what did you hope to achieve in this Australian Society?
What we wanted to achieve was a tribe, in fact.
Okay.
Because we'd come out, particularly here in Tasmania, but generally we were not really a tribe. We were scattered in our own organisations and particularly in our own states, and there was no national organisation apart from the Library Association, which no one except librarians wanted to be a part of, I think. And so us archivists were very spread around, isolated from each other. There were no conferences or anything like that. There was archives and manuscript produced by the archives section of the Library Association. But that was the only thing that sort of held all of us disparate bits all over the country together.
Yeah.
And, for me, it was just a fantastic revelation, meeting people from archivists from other states and finding we shared all the same sort of issues and problems and fighting to make ourselves a separate group, separate tribe within the most of the time in an organisation that was probably one of the state libraries pretty well. And that was really, I think, the genesis of the whole thing and why there was such a huge goodwill towards actually joining together to form something that was just for archivists.
Yeah. Because it's amazing when we look back at the list that they're all still members. Yeah. There's so many members, and we thought, my God, they're all still alive.
Well, that's what I was going to say. How can this be? We're all old archives ourselves, I think.
So, that's a marketing tool, I think. Look, join the archivists, you'll survive
live
long.
Yeah.
Live long and prosper.
Yeah, well, and there was a wide range of ages, I think. Like, I think I was 30 when the ASA was formed.
Yeah.
There were quite a lot of the people who are now become lifelong friends were in their early 20s, but there are also a lot of people in their late, heading towards retirement type age as well. So it had a big spread, and I think it was interesting, and a lot of goodwill towards everyone.
Yeah.
And I think it showed in that first ASA Council, which from memory I think had someone from every state actually on the council. And
that's fantastic.
Trying to work out the sort of answer to, my God, now we've done it, how are we going to make it work and what do we do next?
Okay.
But it was, great times, really. As the beginnings, almost anything are.
So this feeling that I'm getting is that you look forward to gatherings every year?
Pretty well. Now I've retired, and particularly having lost most of my eyesight, not as many gatherings as I might. I haven't been to a conference for, 5 years, I think, maybe. So it's good to come here and catch up with a few people.
It's wonderful to see you. How do you think the Society over the years fared? I mean, what were the ups and downs for you?
Well, I think the main up and down, one of the main ups and downs was the tension between individual and institutional members, and also between professional and non-professional members. And there were, really, I think, I'm not sure that anyone really wanted to have institutional members, even at the beginning, because there was a feeling that this corrupted the whole personal nature of it all. And also, but everyone loved them for their money. So, there was that sort of tension, and the same sort of tension between the people who, professional members, qualified in some sense, working as professional archivists, and the others who had more of an interest on archivists but didn't meet the professional qualifications. So, and there was a lot of dithering and messing around with the whole qualification issue, and trying to decide where to set the bar and so forth. So those two things occupied quite a lot of our time on those early councils. And I think, I gave a paper in 1985 after 10 years of the council. I gave a paper at the conference then, and so the whole question of industrial relations and this issue of professional, non-professional things was still very much on the boil, and I'm not sure, because I've been out of touch a bit recently, I'm not sure where it's all gone at the moment.
It's still a question.
But it is, and as is the
you want to encourage people in, and a lot of people come in on very flimsy, they come in gradually.
Yeah.
They don't always come fully formed, if you know what I mean. And so there's got to be a way of encompassing that welcoming that you were talking about at the beginning, and making people from the outside feel welcome.
Yeah, and there were all sorts of, particularly in the early days, all sorts of strange qualificationary setups. Like, for me, I'd started work without a degree. I worked in the archives and did what was then called a Certificate of Archives Administration through the Library Association, and then immediately left the Library Association.
So your feet found the archives first?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then later on I did a degree, and thought my archives career was finished, but I ended up back again in the archives, as a graduate person, and so I was, there were all sorts of strange mixes of people like that, and still are. I think, despite the archive educational institutions, of which there are far fewer now than there were.
Part of the nature, the liminal world that archivists work in.
It is, yeah.
People find themselves in the position,
and often not valued. I think, which was a part of the push at the very beginning, was to get the work of archivists more appreciated. And more highly valued within their organisations or whoever they work for. So,
All right, Ian, now the $1 million question. What would you like to see for the future of this society?
I'd like to see archivists with even more, I was going to say even more status, but it's not like we're way up the pole at the moment. But I think, to me, the archival enterprise is sort of a vocation, but not a vocation that means it should get, bad pay or lack of appreciation and, status. Again, so I'd like to see that change, so that archivists were more appreciated. And I think, that's been a fight for the ASA in all sorts of various ways, whether it's through industrial relations type models, or through co-opting perhaps records managers, or records management, which was a big issue at various times over the years. But I think, for the work of archivists to be recognised and recognised by society as well as by their employers and so forth, I think, for me, is still the big question that needs to be answered, or that needs to be engaged with and worked on. I guess that's my major sort of thing. So the appreciation by the community of what archivists do and what they give back to the community and their role in, keeping the bastards honest, whoever the bastards might turn out to be, as someone once said.
So Ian, for you, what has being an archivist meant for you personally?
For me personally, I think just in terms of the ASA, it's been endless friendships. It's been, the ability to influence all the organisations that I worked in. And hopefully, be flexible and adaptable enough to, deal with the oncoming, not the oncoming, but the change to a digital society and a digital economy. I think that's been a huge issue, particularly for government archivists, but for all archivists generally. And I think having to be adaptable and flexible has been for me one of the great things that I've felt has come to me personally out of being an archivist. I mean, it's changed the sort of person I am, I think, in a way, and has kept me interested in stuff, because I've always felt that if you're an archivist, anything you knew couldn't but help in the work you were doing, because it's so varied, and that's what I really loved about it most, I think.
Ian Pearce, Elder of the ASA, I thank you.
Thank you very much, John.